Today on Fuse News, Boy George.
Hello.
Today is the day Boy George released his first all-new studio album in 18 years.
It's a long time.
It's called This Is What I Do, but he says don't call it a comeback.
That's right. He's been busy working as a DJ, performer, and author of 2 memoirs. I recently spoke with him. It was a very nice conversation to talk about his new album.
How's the tour been?
Tour has been really, really fun. This new album of mine has its feet firmly in the 70s rather than any other decade. You know, that's the kind of decade that, in a way, influenced me the most as a teenager. That's when I was growing up, 1973.
How do you do something new now? I mean, you're a part of an era that was groundbreaking, as you said, and setting a precedent for what we know to be popular culture, a lot of things today. How do you, as an influencer who broke ground, how do you do that again?
Well, I think you always do something new by being true to yourself. We live in an age where, because of video and because of stylists and because of, you know, the trickery of social networking, you can fool people pretty much most of the time. You know, you can pose as anything you like with the right stylist, but my favorite artists have always been people that invest something of themselves in what they do.
Having said that, who have you listed from this generation, maybe younger musicians, to help you out with this album? No Kanye?
No Kanye, unfortunately. I think musically, especially the new stuff, I think it's really reminiscent of, you know, kind of early electro like Human League. I think he's kind of bonkers, but I find him quite compelling, you know? I mean, I think at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't really matter how mad someone comes across. If the music's good, that's the bottom line.
I agree.
I don't care if you're swinging on a wrecking ball or you're bringing Jesus on stage. Is the record good? That's the bottom line.
Able to break a table over the back of a couple of crack it in half. Only realized it was ironic.
Recently on Twitter, you were talking about Eminem.
All I was saying is the use of the word is not enlightened. You know, you can't argue that it means something else. Just like the N-word or any other kind of racist phrase, you know what's going on in the world in Russia where people are being killed. Any word that legitimizes that is bad. You know, and him saying, you know, it's ironic. Well, it's not if you're getting your head kicked in. It's not personally against him, it's against anyone who uses that word, you know. I
read you said homophobia is a means of self-loathing.
Well, if I was to sit here and say, you know, I have a problem with straight people, you'd think I was a freak. If I said, like, well, straight people really creep me out and what they do creeps me out, you just think, what an idiot. But you know, the problem with the internet is that, you know, you say anything and there's such an appetite for information now and there's so many bloggers and people hunting for that one little comment gets blown out of space and you think, how did this happen? You know, it's unbelievable. So I do spend a lot of time blocking people.
Is there anyone notable you blocked that we would know?
I did block One Direction.
Did you block One Direction?
Yeah, them.
That is funny. Are you thankful because that you grew up in an era where society wasn't dominated by social media? Oh my God,
I'm so glad. When I was younger, my appetite for feuding was you know, it was unsurmountable in a way. And I think if it had been like this back in the 80s, I mean, the feuds would have been terrible.
I am extremely jealous you got to do that interview.
You should be.
Thanks, Babel. Anyways, moving on.